Hello lovely people, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Lou, I'm a Manchester United fan, but today we are not going to be talking about my team Manchester United and their 3 wins in a row. We're going to be talking about Sunderland. So in the international break, I did a video on the channel about Crystal Palace and Bournemouth because I felt like they were right up there, very competitive, 4th and 6th, and nobody was talking about them, and I could not understand why. Since that, we have had a game week. Bournemouth have now moved from 4th into 2nd, and suddenly people just can't ignore them anymore. But we've already covered that. So the team that replaced them in 4th is Sunderland, and all I keep hearing from everybody is, oh yeah, but they can't do it. They can't do it. I mean, Sunderland are there, but they're not really relevant. Bournemouth are 2nd, but they're not really relevant. I mean, you know, the teams that actually have a chance. And I'm like, a little bit condescending, a little bit like not in the spirit of the game, but okay. So I decided if nobody else wants to do it, I would like to talk about Sunderland. Now, I'm not crazy. I don't necessarily think Sunderland are going to win the league. I think actually Bournemouth has a better chance of that. But they're certainly in a fight for European spots. And I don't think that we can just ignore that. As a football fan, I love the chaos. I love when there's an upset. I love when the team that nobody expects to do it is the team that's out there doing it. And look, maybe because I watched my team win so often. United they went through a really bad patch. We're hoping we're on the up and up now. But most of my childhood and my teenage years, you know, Manchester United was winning all around them. So like I have enjoyed that winning. And now that my team maybe isn't at the top where they used to be, although we are currently in 6th and we're only under Manchester City by goal difference. But of recent times, Manchester United have not been very good. So for me, rather than watching Arsenal or City or Liverpool absolutely just belting away at the top there, I am thoroughly enjoying these teams like Bournemouth and Sunderland and Crystal Palace and all the other teams that are getting involved to mix things up and make the top of the league look different. And it's fantastic that no team is running away with it. I know that Arsenal are 4 points clear there at the top after game week 9, but honestly, Arsenal have capitulated so many times. I think they need a few extra points before we start making like assumptions about them running away with it or actually winning at all. So without talking about all the 20 other teams, let's get stuck into Sunderland a little bit. So at the moment, between 2nd all the way down to 10th in the league, there is only a difference of 5 points. So Bournemouth are up there with 18 points. And then if you go all the way down to Crystal Palace in 10th, they have 13 points. I was like, oh my God, my maths. 18 minus 5, they have 13 points. So there's a spread there of like 8 teams and there's only 5 points in it, which obviously makes it highly competitive. It obviously also means that one game week can change everything. But Sunderland are certainly holding their own. So why do we think that they can't sustain that? Why are people dismissing them? Why are people saying, no, it's not possible, they can't, you know, they're not really going to be there? If we can say that people are out of the title race and there's enough people saying that Liverpool are out of a title race, why can't we say that people are in a top 4 race? So that thing of it's too soon, it's only been 9 games, that doesn't roll with me. If it's soon enough to say somebody's out of the title race, then it's soon enough to say somebody's in a top 4 race. And they have been consistent. Apart from anything, they're out doing everything that most people expected of them before the season starts. So even if it goes all downhill from here, which I don't think it will, they've done bloody well for themselves and they need a little bit of recognition for that instead of just talking about the same big teams all the time. Because as much as we love our teams, it does get boring. Everybody loves a bit of a change. So I have my notes over here because I did some research. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a look. So Sunderland have played Wolves, Forest, and this isn't all the teams, it's just to give you an idea of the calibre of opposition they've been playing. Wolves, Forest, Villa and Brentford are some of the teams that they've played. So obviously it's not like they're playing City, Liverpool, they haven't played all the big hitters the way Manchester United have. So is that a thing when, you know, they're beating the teams that are basically in and around themselves and their own sort of a standard? So is it a case when they come to play the big hitters, maybe they're not going to turn up, maybe we're going to see the real actual levels then in difference? The biggest scalp that they have claimed was obviously this weekend at Chelsea. They beat them 2-1. Now, While Chelsea is a big scalp for any team, particularly those that are expected to be lower down in the table, Chelsea have not exactly been at the races this season, very up and down, very all over the place, and very underwhelming compared to most people's expectations for them. So it's not really a proper gauge just yet of where Sunderland are. It is, however, different than the likes of a Villa who started the season very slowly, Forest who's been in absolute turmoil, and Wolves who, let's face it, I think if I put a five-a-side team together would probably beat them. So Chelsea's probably the biggest indicator so far that potentially they can still mix it with some of maybe the mid-table teams, if not necessarily the big boys as such. But their next run of games, their very, very next game is Everton, and then they have Arsenal, then they have Fulham, and then they have Bournemouth. Then their run is starting to get a little bit more difficult. I think after that then they have Liverpool and City and some more of those kind of teams. So we're really going to start seeing at that point, okay, can they stay in and around it at that point? Now, if we look, there's the potential for them to take 6 points. You know, I'm not writing off Fulham or Everton, but there's the potential, there's a realistic possibility that Sunderland can take definitely 6 out of those next 12 points. If they manage to play out of their socks and take a point from either Arsenal or Bournemouth, you're looking at 7 points out of 12, definitely a possible 6 points out of 12, which, based on the way things are going in the season so far, should keep them in and around it. Maybe not in 4th place, but it should keep them in and around them European spots, if not Champions League, certainly the Europa League. Which I think for a team with the level of expectations they had is absolutely superb. Now, what I will say would need to improve for them to continue or to stay in and around it is their goal scoring. So Wilson Isidore, who is their forward, has 4 goals, and then there's another 6 players with 1 goal each to their name. So what that tells us is that there's multiple players on the team capable of scoring goals, which is good, because obviously you want your striker scoring, but you want your other players coming in with goals to help supplement that as well. What I would say is they have an average of 1.2 goals per game. They're going to need more than that. If they want to stay in the European spots, they're going to need more than that. So the potential is there because they have multiple players scoring, but they need to then start actually scoring those goals in order to stay in and around it. Now, obviously the main talking point around them in the summer was Granit Xhaka when he joined them, and he is actually their leading chance creator with 4 big chances created this season. He does, however, have 3 yellow cards, so he is going to need to be careful with that, because if they're already not scoring enough goals, he's their leading chance creator. If he's getting yellow cards all over the shop and he ends up suspended, then where are those goals coming from? So it's not always necessarily that they're just being dismissed for being a small team, and they're certainly earning their stripes this season, but definitely there needs to be more in order for them to stay where they are, and now we need to start seeing it against better opposition than what they've been playing so far. So I'm certainly not writing Sunderland off. I hope they continue the same as Bournemouth to keep just, changing things up, letting us look at different teams there in the top half of the table, but definitely we're going to need to see a little bit more from them coming forward, and let's keep a watching brief, and it'll be interesting. Let's see who we might be talking about in 4th spot next week, because at this moment in time it could be absolutely anybody. As I said, a gap of 5 points between 2nd to 10th, so really it's all up for grabs, and I just cannot wait to see what happens next. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please hit a like on the video. Drop some comments. What do you think? Are you enjoying the change up this season? Are you enjoying seeing some of the underdog teams come higher up the table? Do you think any of these teams can sustain the form that they've had so far and really, really cause an upset? Would you like that to happen? Let me know down below, and I will talk to you all very, very soon.